Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Darren Holmes here from Kaizen Mindset, Kaizen Wellness. Kaizen Wellness is a physical, mental health and wellness platform where we use skills and drills, techniques, modalities and strategies of PTSD counselling, cognitive behavioural therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, mindful behaviours and the roots and dimensions of wellness, all under one roof, all on one platform. I want to do a video today about a thing called capacity, and I've been meaning to do this for ages. And I woke up on Monday morning absolutely racked with anxiety. Not had any anxiety for, well, way before Christmas, which is because I've had a lot of capacity. But with last week was a magnificent week. I delivered the very first Kaizen physical, mental health and wellness strategies course to a corporate client, which went fantastic. And so over the weekend, I was celebrating the delivery of that course. I met up with a best friend, which was the first catch up that we've had since Christmas, to watch the football on Sunday. Had far too much alcohol. Woke up on Monday morning with not severe anxiety, but more anxiety than I've had for a long time. And the first light bulb that went on in my head was, I have run out of, or I am running out of capacity. And the reason for that was alcohol. So what is capacity, or what is agency or tolerance? So one of the models that we use is called the window of tolerance. Now, if you imagine the window of tolerance has a baseline at the bottom, which is 0, and then up the left-hand side, there is a key from 1 through to 10, and that is what you would call your stress account. And number 10 would be your sort of overwhelm and burnout pointer. If you were to get to number 10, then you would go into hyper-arousal, which is the likes of anxieties and things along those lines. And then if you drive through number 10 on the hyper-arousals, you will eventually drop below 0 at the baseline into hypo-arousal, which is depression, apathy, suicidal idealizations and things along those lines. So we never ever want to drop below 0 on the baseline, and we never really want to get to 10 at the capacity. So if that stress account is, you go to work in the morning and you have a baseline of 0, and then all the stresses that come at you during the day are spending, say, £10. So you've got £100 credit in your stress account, and every stressor that comes at you takes 10 credits away. So every stressful event that happens, whether it's emails, phone calls, confrontations with colleagues, tenants, clients not turning up on time, payments not being made into your bank, your computer doesn't work, your car won't start, can't get the kids to school on time. It doesn't matter what the stressor is, but every time you come across a stressor, it takes 10 credits out your stress account. Now, on that window of tolerance, from the baseline up to about number 5 is what we would call good stress. Not all stress is bad stress. So good stress is called eustress. It's a Greek word. And from your baseline of 0 up to 5 on that, the stressors that come at us is good stress. So for instance, getting out of bed and going to the gym in the morning, that's good stress. It's going to help you build capacity. Going to work and doing your job so as you get paid at the end of the month and you can pay your mortgage is good stress, because it helps you build capacity. It keeps your finances in check, keeps a roof over your head. You can see where I'm going with that. So the good stresses are essential. But what we don't want to do is get to 5 and then get to 6 and then get to 7 and then get to 8 and start creeping up towards the burnout zone, which is number 10. So there's a theory called the polyvagal theory, and the importance of this conversation today is to talk about the polyvagal ladder. So polyvagal theory is that we can communicate with our nervous systems. If you've followed me for any time, you'll know I've put a lot of posts out and videos and stuff saying it's not you, it's your nervous system. Our nervous system can be overwhelmed very easily if we've had a number of stressors in our lives that we've not been able to recover from. For instance, trauma triggering post-traumatic stress disorder or complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So any stressors that we have failed to recover from, they will carry weightish burden. And we need to build more capacity to deal with those things. So as you're spending your stress account, your capacity is decreasing and your overwhelm is increasing. Okay. Polyvagal theory is the vagus nerve, is the 12th cranial nerve of the human brain. And it is the only nerve that is connected to all motor function, all internal organs, the other 11 nerves, basically every function that we have in the human body, our nervous system, our brain, everything is connected to the vagus nerve. And there are various things that we can do under polyvagal theory that will help us to communicate with our own nervous system. For instance, breathing exercises. Breathing exercises are superb because they will control your heart rate variability. So whenever you start to feel a bit stressed out, if you go automatically into a breathing exercise, if you've trained with me at any point in time, you'll know a number of them. You can research them via YouTube or anything like that, or by all means drop me a PM and I'll give you some examples as well. But controlling your heart rate variability, because you've had a dose, you've had some stress hormones, something stressful comes at you, the brain automatically goes, oh, here's a dump. Here is a dump of stress hormones. While I mentioned the brain, so the prefrontal cortex at the front is the sort of the thinking brain. So anything that is a new experience will be processed by the prefrontal cortex. Anything that is already a learned experience is held in your hippocampus, or one of your two hippocampus. The hippocampus is like your black box. So learned experience, memories, reactions, behaviors, etc., they're all stored up there in the hippocampus. And when something happens that we've had in the past or we've dealt with before, the hippocampus will go, yeah, here's a learnt memory and here is the behavior that we emoted at the last time this happened. So it's an automatic reaction to something that we don't even need to think of. Think about driving your car, for instance. If you've been driving for any period of time, you will drive your car on autopilot. You will drive it subconsciously because the hippocampus is like, yep, we've got these memories and we know what we're doing. If it's a stressful memory, the hippocampus will fire that memory straight to the thing called your amygdala, and the amygdala will then secrete out the stress hormones. And this all happens like that, without even thinking about it, no conscious thought whatsoever. It's unconscious actions or unconscious reactions. Body gets a huge dose of stress chemicals, 29 stress chemicals, main ones being cortisol and adrenaline. They are the ones that will give us the ability to fight in a situation where we feel as though we need to fight, or flight and run away from a situation that we're finding traumatic. Whilst I'm on that point, I'll talk about perception. So if the hippocampus has memories of stressors, and our reaction that the last time the stressor came at us was X, Y, or Z, then the next time that memory, anchor, trigger, or event happens, the brain will say, we've been here before. Here are the chemicals that you asked for last time, or the chemicals that you utilized last time. And here is the behavior. This is how you're going to respond to it. The massive important thing about that is sometimes it can be about perception, and our perception of a situation can be skewed because not every single event is the same. You may go through, I suppose I'll use a boxer as an example. Every time a boxer gets in a ring, they are putting themselves in a traumatic situation where the body, you get the adrenaline dump first and you feel like you weigh like a ton of bricks. Then you fight your way through that. But the outcome is not always guaranteed. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but you're going to be stressed out during the event. So our perception of what is happening in the future or what is happening at the time, if you are not aware enough to go, hang on a minute, the last time this happened, I did X, Y, Z. That didn't work very well for me. So this time I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to be conscious of the fact that my body is now flooded with stress chemicals. and my brain wants me to react in a certain way, but I'm in charge. I'm more aware of my situation, so I'm not going to let those stress chemicals take control of me. Let's bring it back to the polyvagal ladder. So, at the top of the polyvagal ladder, we are in a thing called ventral vagal, which means that your social engagement system is good. You are happy to meet and greet people. You're happy to go out. You have no issue socializing. You're able to talk quite freely. You're not getting dry mouth. Your pupils aren't dilated, and you're not in a place of fear, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. As soon as a stressor comes along that we react to, actively or subconsciously, it's going to knock you down the ladder, because your body has gone, right, here's a stressor, here's the chemicals, you are now going into fight, flight, freeze or fawn response. You've fallen down your ladder. Again, if you have the awareness, like I did on Monday morning, woke up, shit, got anxiety, what's going on there, had too much alcohol, okay, I need to counter this now with several days of capacity building strategies. For instance, cold showers, lots of exercise, good nutrition, walking the dog in nature, turning my phone off when I don't want to speak or deal with anybody. So as soon as I feel my stress account creeping up to the 5 or the 6, it's like, right, stop, that day is done. I'm not going to take any more stress on board today, because I just don't want to. And I have the ability and the awareness to say, stop, not going any further down my polyvagal ladder. I'm going to stay where I am right now. I'm going to carry out some strategies to get me back to the top in a ventral vagal place. Once we've fallen down into the, having a brain fart. Once we've fallen down into the sympathetic nervous system, which is where you're then doing your fight, flight, freeze and fawn responses from, we've got the ability to either put the brakes on and do some capacity building to get back up to ventral vagal, or if we decide to then go down a slippery slope of perceiving threat everywhere, perceiving that everybody that gives you a sly look or cuts you up in the car, or you think they're talking about you, or you're being judged somewhere like that, then that will continue to knock you down your polyvagal ladder. And unfortunately, once you go downwards below your fight, flight, freeze and fawn mechanisms, you go into a thing called dorsal vagal, which again is at the bottom of the sort of evolutionary ladder, where you would fall into more freeze and fawning, but along with that you would go into depressive states. You would be apathetic, and you would be in that sort of realm of can't be bothered with this anymore and looking for routes out of it. And potentially at that point also looking to disassociate from it with drink, drugs, too much exercise, violence, or anything that can give you the ability to move away from those stressful things. What you have to do is come back to the window of tolerance and your ability to build capacity. Build capacity through meditation, breathing exercises, cold showers, nature, cold water therapy, getting in a lake, jumping on your bike, any form of exercise whatsoever. Nutrition is really, really important. I won't harp on about it, but your nutrition is so important for your microbiome, because the microbiome that travels through your bloodstream also goes to the brain. So if the bad bacteria is overwhelming the good bacteria, guess what's going on upstairs? Your perceptions will be wrong because the brain's not working optimally. We also utilize, so the roots and dimensions of wellness are the main strategies that we use at Kaizen Mindset, Kaizen Wellness. And roots to wellness being exercise, nutrition, hydration, talking about your problems, sleep is massive, nature, mindful behaviors, educating yourself about things. So if there's anything in this video, you think, what does microbiome mean? What is a window of tolerance? What's the roots to wellness? Then either jump on my website or jump on YouTube or Google and the answers will be there for you. or indeed ask me personally. The last route to wellness is giving back. So some form of charitableness, whether that be carrying the bags for somebody in the shops, paying for somebody's shopping, giving £1 to a vagrant on the street, donating to Ukraine, it doesn't matter. Cutting somebody's grass. Any aspect of giving back will raise your own self-esteem, and it will keep you, hopefully, at the top of the polyvagal ladder. It's very, very straightforward when you think about it as a ladder. At the top, you know you are functioning really, really well. In the middle, you know you're not functioning very, very well. And if you drop below not functioning, then you're going into a dark place where you don't want to be. So if you find yourself in the middle, no matter what it is, it might be illness, it might be massively stress related, it could be a number of things, it could be absolutely anything that takes you from in a healthy, happy place to a stressed out place. You have to build capacity. Guys, I hope that all makes sense. There's a lot of rapid fire in there, but I've been wanting to do this video for ages. So that's Darren Holmes from Kaizen Mindset, Kaizen Wellness. Hope you have a fantastic day. Now, switch your phone off, switch your laptop off, and go and build some capacity somewhere. Bye, guys.